Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit. I am back from my little hiatus. I got married, went on my honeymoon. I enjoyed life. But now I am back to enjoy making content again about MLB The Show 24. That's what this channel is all about. So make sure if you're new here, you subscribe. I love you for being here. Thank you so much. On the channel today for your viewing pleasure is the 10-minute mailbag. It is the MLB The Show 24 series in which I take listener questions from Discord, link below, and in the YouTube comments, and I answer them. I go in depth and I provide you guys the answers you seek. So if at any point during this video you've got a question, leave it down below and we'll get to it. Let's start the damn video. Boy howdy, do I feel rusty. I am thrilled that everything works recording-wise. Trust me, I checked a million times, and I'm going to check again right now. Yes, my voice is coming through, so that is a good sign. I'm going to throw 10 minutes on the clock. I've got a bunch of questions queued up, and just a quick programming note, I guess, so to speak. Any questions that you guys ask that I don't get to in this video will most likely be gotten to in tomorrow's podcast episode every Tuesday, the show, the podcast, all podcast listening platforms. Primarily going to talk about the postseason program stuff in that, so just so you guys know. But without further ado, let us begin. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, sorry, now let's go. I had a little dog hair in my mouth. Regardless, neither here nor there. I'm hitting the button. Go. Our first question today comes from Beatles News 1964. This was not actually in the questions channel. It was in the lineup advice channel. Either way, I love it. Or maybe it was in the market questions channel. Doesn't matter. So I got the Carlos Santana milestone card in a chase pack. I already have over 1 million stubs. Should I keep it or sell it? So at this point in the year, 1 million stubs probably doesn't do much. At this point in the year, if you're still playing the game and still watching the content, shout out on both of those fronts. Basically, if you're finished with collections or you're not concerned with collections, any cards you pull, the first question you should ask yourself is this card making my lineup? And the second question is, can I wait for it to make my lineup? So, perfect example. I caught up on all the content after I finished my hiatus. I got the event reward Corey Seager, who is disgusting. What an incredible card. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact attributes, copy-paste from last year. By the time I got to 15 wins, he was worth 330,000 stubs. I sold it because I'd be a foolish, silly idiot to pass up on that many stubs. I can wait for the next program, or next event rather, to get the rewind pack and get them for free. So you don't have that exact one-to-one scenario, because you can't get Carlos Santana for free in all likelihood the next time around. But right now, on Sunday, November 3rd, he is worth 290,000 on the buy now, 256,000 on the sell now. Sell it. Unless you have plans of putting him as your catcher, third baseman, or first baseman, which he'd be excellent at because Carlos Santana card's incredible, I would just sell it and get the guaranteed nice stubs, even though, like I said, 1 million stubs, 1 million plus is kind of irrelevant at this point. Might as well take the capital. You never know if you want to start buying some cards you missed out on, or who knows. So my suggestion, to sell it. They will start feeding us more chase packs, 100%. Maybe you pull him out of another chase pack in a week. Like, you never know. So I think that's the strategy. And because I love you all so much, this has potential to be a top 10 moment on the channel. I'm going to buy a 50 bundle. And at the end of this 10 minutes, I'm going to rip open the chase pack and see if we got Carlos Santana. So here's proof. I've purchased the 50 bundle. There's the chase pack. It's Carlos Santana. But we're going to wait until the end of the episode to open it. All right? So everyone stay tuned for that. So Beatles News, thank you so much for your question. I hope you sold or made a decision that is right for you. At the end of the day, do whatever you think is best. From Danny Bats 27. The Discord had a nice storylines conversation going on whilst I was away. Storylines. Oh, no, it's up here. Sorry. Wasting time. I'm rusty. It's been a while. We'll get back into the swing of things. If they continue to do more storylines for players, which I'm sure they will, considering how much they have delved into it into the past 2 years, which player would you like to see get a storyline mode, next year? I think he was talking about specifically the Derek Jeter style storyline versus the Negro League storyline. So I'm so interested in this because I've said this before. pretty sure in a mailbag or definitely on the podcast. While I enjoy the single-player storylines, and I'm not just saying this as a biased Yankee fan, it would be hard to produce a storyline similar to Derek Jeter's that has as much depth, because Jeter played for like 21 years, something like that. Obviously, multiple World Series titles, how an injury opened the door to his career, 3,000 hits, Hall of... Like, there are the quality of players he played with. I think the Jeter one might have been a one-off. There are certainly some other guys that could work with. You could do older legends. Roberto Clemente one would be kind of sick. But I think this style of storytelling lends itself best to a particular team from a particular year that made like an improbable postseason run. So, I hate saying this, but like the 2004 Red Sox that just got the documentary on Netflix. That could for sure work. There are the Cardinals with David Freese. He could be a new legend that comes into play. So I think that's probably the way in which I'd go. I think that makes the most sense. Can you guys hear this stupid noise in the background of the storyline music? I'm going to get out of the screen just because it was irritating me. But I think that's the best way to do it. There are probably plenty of other players who would work for. I'm curious, who would you want? Probably someone from your favorite team, and that's totally fine. But I do think it lends itself best to like a postseason storylines type of mode, because at the end of the day, those are the most compelling, right? We just witnessed sadness as a Yankee fan, but one of the best postseasons maybe ever. Or up there, at least. And there's plenty of stories to come from that. Just in one postseason from all the teams involved. So I think that's the tact. But Danny, thank you for your question. Next question comes from Post Happy Streams, also about storylines. Having known that we are done with storylines and that you were a big fan of them, what player, I think he means specifically for this year, what player did you most enjoy hearing about and had their story stick with you? So I'm going to give two, and I'm going to go back into, you know what, I'll actually go into storylines for this. I'm going to give two because I think they were tied. Where is he? Oh, Josh Gibson for sure. I know that's probably the cop-out because, like, everyone actually at least knew of Josh Gibson, but it was cool to actually, like, dive into who Josh Gibson was, hear more about his incredible career. And then Buck Leonard. I had heard the name Buck Leonard. I virtually knew nothing else about Buck Leonard. He, early on in the game, was actually one of my favorite cards to use. The 85, I think, was the version of him. When they, the Dead Red Quirk, man, when they talk about hitting a fastball, this dude was hitting the fastball. Super sweet swing. Now, unfortunately, later on in the game's life cycle, I did not get either of their 99s. Let me double check. Where's the best way to do this? Probably inventory. I didn't get either of them. I think it was a matter of, like, opportunity and cost. Plus, I didn't necessarily need them to upgrade. Yeah, see, I didn't get the 99 Buck Leonard. He's actually semi-affordable now, so maybe that's something I could look into before Season 4 begins. What a sick card. Plus, of course, with the Dead Red Quirk. And then, Gibson, I know I don't have for a fact. Was he a World Series reward, or he might have been a BR reward? Oh, you son of an ass. I'm getting used to holding a controller again, friends. It's been a bit. I'm sorry. Hit this button, hit that button, don't back out. Okay, yeah. Oh, maybe he wasn't. He was just a card. I don't know where he came from. Either way, sick card. Those two are probably my favorite, both in terms of their storylines, but also because their cards are like not inevitably, I guess incredibly usable. Like, they're a lot of fun to play with. So, special shout out goes to the Hank Aaron storyline, or Henry Aaron storyline. I liked learning about his backstory no one ever talks about. How he came up as a shortstop was kind of neat. I'm just a fan of the storylines. I know the people who don't like storylines argue that it takes away from development of the rest of the game. I don't think that's necessarily true because it's a completely different development team. It might take away some money from the rest of, or time from the rest of the studio, and that is a fair thing to say. I don't think it's a fair critique, but it is a fair thing to say. Either way, I think next year might be our last year of the Negro League storylines. I hope they continue storylines past that by either extending the contract or giving us more of those individual player ones like Derek Jeter, etc., etc. Thank you so much for your question. Our last question today comes from Scotty. With the A's departing Oakland, would you have liked to see more A's players added to the game this year, or an A's program highlighting their history in Oakland, or save that for MLB 25 and do an Oakland storyline? Or have the Coliseum retain in the game as a classic stadium? So, unfortunately, none of that's going to happen because the A's owner is an absolute asshole. Because of how all of this was handled, entirely his fault, by the way, I think they're trying to wipe the history of Oakland off the map. They're trying to make a clean break, and what they've done is make the messiest break ever possible. The Coliseum will never be in the game, at least for the next couple of years. Next year, you will not have them called the Oakland Athletics. I don't know if they're going to be called the Sacramento A's. They might just be called the A's. I don't really remember how that situation is working. They're going to do the thing like they did when Cleveland changed their name. They're going to wipe Oakland off the jerseys, I'm guessing, for all legend players and flashback players. It becomes not an MLB Players Association thing, but an MLB thing. And because SDS has that contract and that relationship with the MLB, they have to honor all sorts of political nonsense like this. Is essentially what it comes down to. It stinks. That doesn't mean they can't put Oakland legends in the game. They would just have to call them the Athletics. Like Ricky Henderson, unless his rights are up, he's not going away. He just won't be an Oakland A. He'll be an Athletic, which is just semantics. It's nonsense. It's BS. I feel for A's fans. If there are A's fans listening, watching, commenting, I'm sorry. It stinks a lot to have. I couldn't imagine having a franchise ripped away from me like that. So, if you choose to keep following them in Vegas, good for you. If you don't, I totally understand. It's just an awful situation all around. And now that our 10 minutes are up, a little bonus content here. Let's go rip that effing chase pack. Everybody, pray to Ramon. Should we pray to Ramon right now? It's been a while since we've prayed to Ramon. I don't even know if I still have it on here because I don't stream anymore. I only do this. Church, here we go. Yes, we do. Dearest Ramon. Ramon, how are you, my friend? It's been a while. I'm about to open a chase pack. This has potential to be a top 10 kdjTV channel content moment. In your name we pray, Ramon. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going back to the game. Here's the chase pack. Everybody, cover your butts. Here we go. We're opening it. We're opening it. Should we do the reveal or the quick flip? Let's do the reveal. Here we go. Boom. It's a friggin' purple. It is not Carlos Santana. It is Dylan Cease. And that'll do it. A very sad way to end the video. Instead of getting a 300,000 stub card, I got a 3,000 stub card. So we're doing great. But thank you guys, first of all, for your patience while I was away and your understanding while I was away. But I'm back. We're going to start ripping content out. So stay glued to the channel. Love you all. See you next time.